Hello everybody, this is Christian from the Architect channel, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to add your own custom material textures inside of Revit. First thing you're going to do is go up to the Manage tab, and all the way to the left you're going to click on that Materials button. What this does is it opens the material browser, and this is going to be our home for creating new Revit materials. Up here, just to recap, if you haven't used this before, this is the Project Materials All tab, and this will show us all of the materials that are currently in my project. And obviously I've been using this project for a while, so it has quite a few, but if yours doesn't have as many, that is fine as well. Down here is a drop down of Revit's material library as well. You might not see it by default, but you can click these arrows to open it. And you can go under Home, AEC Materials, and to see all of Revit's storage of backup materials that aren't necessarily in our project, but they can be easily added to our project when needed. So you may be asking, why am I showing you Revit's backup material bank when we are going to be creating our own custom materials? Well, the thing is, it's very easy to create a custom material. All you have to do is go down here and hit Create New Material. But the thing about these is that they are all empty, or they have the default value, which makes it pretty time consuming when you're adding a bunch of materials by default. So what I like to do is I like to find a similar texture that already exists, and then I can add it to the project, duplicate it, and just switch out my texture so it's a lot less time consuming. So that's what I'm going to be showing you in this video. But a quick thing to note is that all materials aren't created equal. If I were to type in wood and go to this chair wood, for example, that's already in my project, you'll see that it has a wood drop down that has options of staining and options of wood related finishes. Where if I were to look up metal, for example, when I click on this chrome, it has a metal drop down instead, and it has metal related finishes as well as types and finishes. So make sure to find a material that is similar to the type that you are about to import. I'm going to be importing a brick, for example, and I only have one in my library, so good thing we have Revit's library back here. And basically make sure it looks close to what you want in the Identity, Appearance, Physical, and Thermal tab. Thermal and Physical, I don't usually mess with these, but they're useful for analysis down the line if you have people that do that. And to look at this, obviously we're going to be changing the texture, but if you wanted to get a better look of this, you can drag this down and you can change the scene as well. For example, if you're importing a fabric, you can change it to fabric. I am actually going to be using this for a wall, so I'll just leave that at the wall. But this looks like a mighty fine texture. So all we have to do is select it and click that up arrow to add it into our project. Now we can drop this down. We don't really need it anymore. And if you want to duplicate it, you can. You can right click and hit Duplicate Material and Assets. You can also go down here with the sphere that we clicked earlier and hit Duplicate Material and Assets from there as well. And name it whatever you want. I'm just going to be adding a period in front of it. So I know that's a little trick that I like to do, because this is alphabetical order, and adding a period will make it to the top of the list. You don't have to do that, of course, but that's a little trick that I use. And now we can actually get to editing. First thing is the Identity tab. This is going to be where you store all of the textural information. This doesn't really have anything to do with textures, but if you create a material schedule down the line, this will be useful to have. Graphics, this is related to the views that don't have any color, and I'll be covering that in just a second. But Appearance is where all of the fun is going to be. Down here is another information tab if you want to add more information. It's going to be staying relatively the same, so I don't think we need to do that. But to add a texture, just click on this text right here, and you will see Revit's material library once again, with all of its textures that are in there by default. However, if you've downloaded your own texture from a website, you can find it here. So I'm going to go to Downloads and find my texture. And all I have to do is hit Open, and voila. It kind of looks a little weird right now, but we can obviously edit it. We can click this drop down and hit Edit Image, and there is our texture. We can edit the brightness here. I'm going to make it a little brighter, maybe 90 is fine. We can change the position as well, and the rotation. Let's do 90 degrees for fun. You can see that everything has been rotated on a 90-degree angle now. Sample size, this is probably the most important one because this sets the scale. When I uploaded this texture, I knew that it is a square image that I uploaded, so having these not be the same exact width and height is a little concerning. So I'm going to unlink that and copy that number so they are the exact same. And then I can link it again so I know when I raise this, it's going to be a square image. So let's say I want it to be 2000 millimeters. And this preview is nice to have because it shows what 2000 millimeters will look like. I think that might be a little big, so I can drop it down to 1500. And that looks pretty good. And for this repeat down here, just make sure they are set to tile, otherwise they wouldn't be repeatable. Now we can hit done, and we have a pretty decent preview. We can edit the finish, glossy. I think I'll just keep it at unfinished to be honest, but you can edit that if you wanted to. And if you're not using a brick pattern, you're obviously going to have different options as well. It depends on the material you are importing. And relief pattern, you don't need a relief pattern, obviously. But if you do have one, it is nice to have as well. So I actually do have one. So I'm going to go back into my downloads folder and find it. And what these relief patterns do, they essentially just add a little more depth when rendering your texture. So like no harm if you don't have one, but no harm as well if you do have one. Only thing about this is that you need to make sure that it matches the texture that you already did. The brightness doesn't have to be the same, but I did rotate this 90 degrees, so I want to make sure I got that covered, and I did make this 1500 millimeters. So I want to make sure they are the same exact size. Apply and OK. And basically, our texture is now added. We can go into a view that shows texture. Let's go over here. And I think we can choose this wall to change. So you can there's a few ways of adding your material in here. If you want to go to modify, you can click the paint button, which is up here, and you can select the material that we just created. Where to go? You can select it, and then you can simply click anywhere you want, and it will add it. Obviously, it didn't click or it didn't update because we're not in the textures view. Now you can see that it did update. I'm going to do that one more time for you folks. Just click it there, and now you can see I added the texture right there. And you may be wondering why it didn't show in the shaded view right there. So let's go back into our Manage tab, go to Materials, and this is what I was talking about with the Graphics tab. The Appearance tab is for the realistic textures. The Graphics tab is for when you just want a little color. If you click Use Render Appearance, this will tell Revit to say, hey, look at this texture over here and try to find the average color. So when we click that, it finds the average color and it's that brown. Obviously, you don't have to use that. You can use whatever color you want. But I find that this is pretty accurate for the most part. So we can hit Apply and then OK. And now inside of the shaded view, we have that nice brown color. Let's say I want to add that texture that I just created to every wall of this type though. What I can do is click on this, hit Edit Type, then I can hit Edit Structure. And of course, if you want to duplicate this, you can, but in my case, I'm just going to be editing this so it affects every wall in my project. And what I want to edit are the finished textures. All of these textures in the middle, they are a structure. That's stuff you see in the middle, and they're not going to be seen by the public eye. However, these finished textures are going to be. So I can simply click these. Okay. Do the same for down here. Find my texture. Okay, okay, apply, and okay. So now, yes, all of them are that brown texture that I selected earlier, and if I hit texture, it would update to that as well. So absolutely perfect. I'm going to be changing the shaded over here and scrolling in a little because when I scroll in on, when I'm on texture mode, my computer lags up a storm. So let me show you a few more tricks that I didn't go too deep into earlier. If we go back into the Materials tab, I kind of glanced over the relief that I was talking about earlier. Actually, let's go to a realistic view. That will show it better. And now if we go back into editing that relief, you can see that if I raise it to 2.0, which is the highest it can get, and hit apply, if you look closely, you can see that they added a little more depth. Let me zoom in a little more. And you can see that it almost looks like the shadow is hitting the brick and it's casting a shadow onto that mortar. Or like the mortar is recessed and the brick is jumping out. And that's the look that I like to see. However, if you reduce it all the way, you'll see that it goes back to normal, where they're all kind of on that flat line. So relief patterns, although unnecessary, they sure help to make your building look a little more realistic. So that's the first thing that I wanted to show you. Let me go back to a shaded view so I can move around. And the other thing, let me go to an elevation actually. You'll see right now that there's no texture on this. And the floor, this earth pattern, it has this, whatever pattern this is, parquet or however you say it. If I wanted to add a pattern to these types of views without having the realistic texture or the regular texture tab, I can certainly do that as well. All I have to do is go to materials. And once again, under graphics, we can add a custom surface pattern. You can use a drafting or a model pattern. I'm going to be using a model pattern. And there's gotta be a herringbone in here. There's gotta be. There we go. Herringbone 100 by 200. You can edit the texture here. Hopefully it loads real quick. Obviously they don't align 1-to-1, but you can do your best to try to align them. Honestly, I don't think it's going to affect much here. But you can add your own custom texture alignments as well. I will be covering that in a different video though. But if I hit apply and OK, you'll see that this pattern is applied in these views as well. And one thing that is pretty cool about this is if I duplicate this, go over here. Actually, let me drag this over here. That might be the best example. Make them roughly the same size. Absolutely beautiful. I'll make this one a realistic view and I'll keep this one the exact same. But the thing is, if I hit tab, I can select these individual bricks and that, whoa, jump scare. Got jump scared a little. I don't know why those people are so realistic, but I can rotate this, let's say 90 degrees, and it will also alter the real view, the real texture view. You can see these are all in lines now, where they used to be in horizontal lines. I can do the exact same thing, hit tab, rotate 90 degrees, and now they are horizontal lines again. And I can do the same thing with the move tool, and I can move these. Since it's a repeating pattern, it doesn't change much, but having the option there for more complex patterns is always useful down the line. If I can get rid of that, I can get rid of this. These people are freaking me out, man. They are uncanny because they don't match the rest of my model. But let's zoom into here, and just for funsies, I think I might do a render of this. Just for funsies, let me find a good view, set it to realistic, and it may take a while to load, but that honestly doesn't look too bad. I think I might raise this a little more, make it a little larger. If I go to graphics, or actually appearance, sorry about that. And there was 2000 earlier. I lowered it to 1750, but I think I will find the happy medium of in between. Do the same for the relief pattern, apply, and you see it get bigger right there, and hit OK. And if you didn't know this already, you can do RR, hit R twice on your keyboard for the little shortcut. And all you have to do is, I'll select medium, exterior only, let's do something artificial, move these up a bit. I'm pretty new to rendering, but just for funsies, let's see what it looks like when we render. And basically that's about it. When adding custom textures, I'm going to be making an additional video of where to find your textures to import into Revit, the top 10 best websites to find for PBR materials that include these shadows, those depths, and everything that you're looking for. So after this finishes rendering, that's probably going to be it for this video, but leave a like if this has helped you and subscribe to stay tuned for more videos about how to add custom textures and rendering inside of Revit. Alright, thanks guys, and have a good one. Bye-bye.